The content that we're going to talk about has certain words that may make you feel uncomfortable. Please know that that definitely is not the intention. The intention is for us to understand what you and I can do together to keep somebody safe. If at all any one of you feels uncomfortable, needs a break, needs to step out, you have helpline numbers on the screen. Request you to please reach out to them. They will definitely give you a listening ear. I'm on a train and I'm gonna jump. Promise to take care of Bruno while I'm gone. I don't want to be here anymore. Nobody cares if I disappear. I don't want to be a burden. I don't think I'll be at school next week. What if you hear these phrases from a friend, a colleague, a partner, a spouse, a child, a neighbor, or even a stranger on a train? What do you hear? Do you get the subtext? Do you get the underlying message? In all probabilities, you and I would react saying, "Oh, come on, stop it now. Enough of this dramatic language of yours. This is the usual." If it's a colleague or a friend, we may also say things like, "What are you high on? Look at the positives. Look at the world. There are people having worse issues than you. Be grateful." If it is somebody else that we also know, we may even say things like, "God, you're such an attention seeker. Let's please talk about something else now. I don't want to hear your sob stories." I see that expression. I can also hear a few murmur around, and I do understand, and it's fine. But whenever I share this with people, the reaction that I get is, "Madhuri, I don't know what to say when somebody says these things to me. What do I do? It's natural I'm going to react like this." Well, fair. It's natural to feel anxious when you're at the receiving end of such information, possibly truth for that person. And you could be the first, probably the last person they're reaching out to, in the hope that you may get it. You now have the opportunity to be their first responder. You now have the opportunity to change the colloquy underlying a suicide. Who is a first responder? A first responder is somebody who's trained to respond immediately in situations of an emergency or accident. So you have ambulance services, police personnel, your paramedics, your firefighters, all these are first responders. But why are we talking about first responders vis-a-vis my subject today, which is around suicide? Because India has an emergency. Just so that we are able to understand this number a little better, let's take the example of the aviation industry, where I believe the safety standards are the highest. And if you agree with me, can I see a thumbs up from whatever little that I can see? Thank you very much for that. So one of the largest passenger aircraft carrier that we have is Air India Boeing 787, which can carry about 256 passengers. This number of 1,53,000 would mean 597 planes coming crashing down the sky a year. That would be about 50 a month and 2 every day. Are we willing to hear such news every single day? And yes, airlines have a zero crash policy, but these are suicide numbers. Do we have a zero crash policy? Do we have enough first responders? Let me share the story of a real impact of a first responder towards a zero suicide country. One Saturday afternoon, my cell phone rang, and it was from somebody who had just completed her certification in suicide first response. She sounded extremely edgy, anxious, worried, nervous, just as how you felt when you heard those phrases a while ago. She went on to telling me that she had read a status line on her colleague's WhatsApp, and something didn't fit, something didn't seem right. I'd like you to imagine a radar on your forehead that beeps when it sweeps the environment to pick something that looks odd, something that looks off. But she was in a dilemma. One side was a colleague she didn't want to overstep, and the other side was a first responder she ought to check in for what was going on. She decided to make that call and speak to him. After initial pleasantries, she asked him what was going on. She spoke to him about all the messages that she seemed to see, and she said, what's happening? Are you okay? And guess what he said? Yes, he said just that. No, I'm okay, all's fine. I don't know why you get that, but no, I'm fine, everything is okay. But her radar didn't stop beeping. Something said, something didn't fit, the jigsaw didn't fit. She continued talking to him, she continued listening to him for what that pain was for him and what it meant for him. She asked him about suicide clearly and directly one more time, and this time he said, yes. That day, she changed the colloquy. That day, she saved her colleague. That day, she connected him to professionals to get him the help that he needed. That day, she didn't go by the subtext underlying the judgment, underlying the script of so much shame around the subject, but she paid him a listening ear to keep him safe for now. People thinking of suicide do not want their lives to end. They want the pain to stop. And so they will let you know in the hope that you understand for what that pain means and feels for them. And if you and I can understand that, we can say suicide is one of the most preventable deaths. Suicide is an irreparable, irreplaceable loss. A person who dies choosing death by suicide, that may sound odd to you because we are so used to saying committing, but committing is a crime and suicide is decriminalized in our country as of 2018. Person who dies choosing death by suicide leaves behind so many questions for the loved ones. Why did they do this? Why did they go so soon? What did I miss? Were they trying to tell me something? I wish I'd taken them seriously. Just a few of them. And so what we may see is a mother, a father, a husband and children, a wife and children, or a partner, and therefore a family unit left behind. Research suggests that with a single death by suicide leaves 15 people emotionally injured due to that sudden traumatic loss. We definitely can see physical injury and the gash. Unfortunately, we can't see the depth and the gash of an emotional injury. Research also suggests that a suicide in a community leaves 135 people significantly affected. Well, these are statistics. The pain, the grief, the isolation, unfortunately, cannot be quantified. But what if I told you that as per the Grief to Hope Report 2020, all those people who are bereaved by suicide can have thoughts of suicide themselves? Yes, that's right. 38% may go on to have thoughts of suicide themselves, 8% talk of self-harm, 8% reported making a suicide attempt, 64% of those did so within a year, and the remaining 36% did so within a year or more of the death were they bereaved. And so what does that tell us about the role you and I can play as a part of the community, as a part of the society, as a part of somebody we know, who we meet, who we see, who could be bereaved by suicide, and therefore, would anything change if you and I were first responders? If we go back to the number of reported suicides, we said 1,53,000, leaving 15 people emotionally injured. And I want you to hold on to your seats. This would mean 23 lakh people emotionally injured, and with 135 significantly affected would leave 2,06,55,000 people significantly affected by that loss, and this actually is a population of Mumbai and Delhi put together. Allow me to share another story with you that told me how a single conversation from a friend, from a person, from a relative can actually keep a person safe. So this girl's intention of doing the suicide first response program was only so that she could keep her friend safe. She could understand what was going on for him. It wasn't unnatural for her to hear things like, I am so sorry, I've been a burden on you, I've harassed you so much, but don't worry, soon all of this will be over. I wish you find a friend who doesn't harass you as much as I do. It literally had become a pattern of their conversations. That day, after she completed her training, she decided to make him a phone call because she was so excited to share all the learnings and insights that she had. After a few rings, he answered the call and she started talking, but she could hear some shrill sounds of the winds in the background. She had heard that before. She asked him where he was, and he said he was on the terrace of his building. She asked him where on the terrace was he, and he said he was on the ledge. Her friend was executing or about to execute his plan. Her heart skipped a beat, but she realized she had to put to practice what she learned that very day to keep him safe for now. She started talking to him, understanding where the pain came from, understanding what was going on for him, without any advice, without any judgment, without refuting, without interruptions. All she did was she listened to him intently. She asked him about suicide and he said yes. She had learned that suicide has ambivalence. A part of the person wants to end his life, but there is another part within this person that wants to be rescued. She continued talking to him and got him connected to professional help to get him the help that he needs. That day, she changed the colloquy. That day, she saved 149 lives. That day, she did something to not fall back on the stigma and the shame around suicide and the script underlying a suicide. While I do understand that we cannot help everybody, but I also understand that everybody can help somebody. So if I may invite you to close your eyes and dream with me. Imagine in India where one person in every family was trained to read these signs, where one person in every family was trained to respond, where one person was trained to be that listening ear for somebody who could be emotionally distressed or could have thoughts of suicide. Don't you think we'll be able to keep our communities and neighborhoods suicide safe?
Research says 9% of the Asian population can have thoughts of suicide at any point in time, which is 1 in 10 of us.
Let's look around us. I believe we are about 300 here.
30 of us
May have had thoughts of suicide at any point in time, but would you know who that is? We wouldn't, unfortunately. And so what does that tell us? Anybody can have thoughts of suicide at any point in time. If you and I are there, we create that safe space for them to share and talk. It really doesn't make us therapists. It doesn't make us doctors to give a diagnosis. It actually enables us to have skills to provide CPR to the person while professionals come in and take over. Anybody can become a first responder. You could be a CXO and HR, a manager, a parent, a teacher, a student. You can be a lawyer, you can be a doctor. You can play any role that you do within a community to keep this person safe. Research says that 80% of suicide attempters felt their suicide attempt could have been prevented. 64% felt friends, family, loved ones could have kept them safe. And 16% felt society could have done something. You and I are a part of the society. You and I are somebody's loved one, somebody's family, and you and I can be somebody's safe space. My dream is to make India suicide safe, and that can happen only with all of us in it. Suicide is not a magic wand. Suicide first response is not a magic wand. We may have to intervene multiple times with the same person to keep them safe for now until professionals take over. But if you and I are here to change the colloquy, you and I together can actually make sure suicide is preventable. So are you willing to join the movement?